Don't stop. A family shop. Think Thayer. Come on, let's get rolling. Come on, let's get moving. Think Thayer.
Yeah, it was good to end up on the right part of one of those close ball games. Proud of the kids. Anytime you can go on the road and get a win against a team that's fighting for their bowl eligibility, that's got a lot of seniors that have been around and done some things, that says a lot. We did it in all three phases, offensively, defensively, and in special teams late in that fourth quarter. Played a decent first half. Second half, we tried to give it to them a little bit. Well, let me rephrase that. They did a great job of coming out playing with a renewed sense of urgency and tried to take it. And we were able to stay the course and find a way to make some plays and get a win.
Questions? I talked to Donovan last night about not having carried the ball much over the last however many weeks. You throw him in there right away and he's able to produce. One, what does that kind of say about him? And two, you see him?
Well, I'll speak on the young men first. Donovan's the first one here. I bet you he's somewhere here right now getting a workout in. He's always the last one to leave. Fred has had a good year for us, and really, and in the way I like to run my running back rotation, I believe that it's one of those deals. The more reps you get, the better you are. The more you see that safety fit, your vision, things of that nature. I talked to those guys. We talked a little bit last week. Some of those second, third, and fourth running backs, because as you go through a year like this, everybody's got an answer. You know what I mean? And why me? I'm not getting my chance, and pretty much just told them what they needed to do is when they had the opportunity, make sure they were prepared to take advantage of it. And then he did that. Donovan's one of those guys that's built for November. It was a chilly night. It was kind of tough to hang on to the ball a little bit. It was tough to tackle as well. He ran through a lot of arm tackles. So, I see the rest of these last two ball games being the same type of ball games. So he'll definitely be very raw.
What was last night like? I mean, obviously you got the win earlier in the season, but first MAC win, first D1 win. What was last night like?
Well, it was trust me, I do realize it. Definitely now, any win's a good win, and you better be thankful for it. But I appreciated the kids, just their resolve, the way to continue to compete, the way to continue to fight, not to quit. So it was really special as far as that went, because a lot of times what happens when you go on a 7-8 game losing streak, you're 1-8, and people don't think you have anything to play for. It's hard to continue to fight. It's hard to continue to play the game the right way. And they show that. I mean, the defense, they fool around all night long. I mean, you go into the game week, and we've just grown so much. Losing Will Watson right before Ohio State, it was a similar deal last night. I mean, last night we lost Austin Valdez, we lost Tavares Wade, we lost Will Watson, and those kids responded, and they didn't have the big eye. And so that was special, and it was it's good to see him play in that manner. Alfonso Mack, last minute scratches at the last minute, you know what I mean? And you got Milton and you got Cameron Jeffries. They got to jump out there and got to play. That's a testament to the job that Coach Mickens done with the corners, that Coach E's done with our defense, of getting those guys ready. I thought they did a good job of it from our non-conference to our conference. I understand that the talent was a little bit different, but I think we're all finding out that Eastern Michigan and Ohio are not slouches. They're pretty darn good ball clubs, and I think those coaches did a great job of getting those guys ready to go for conference, and I think they're continuing to grow. I think you saw last night one thing: we played fast. We played fast, and that's one of the things we harped on all week in practice this week is quit playing on your heels. You know what we're doing. We simplified it. Go get the ball. Go get the ball. Ball's in the air. Go get it. Go attack it. Even the big plays that we gave up, the corners were in much better position than they've been in in some of the games that we've seen. And old number 7, Lane kid, he's not a slouch. He's not a slouch. You know, on the pick Milton made, just being aggressive, attacking the ball, that's what we've been waiting on. I'm a defensive guy, believe it or not. You go back and you look at the coaches, the teams that I've coached as a head coach, I believe in defense. I believe in defense. I believe in controlling the ball, controlling the clock. You know, moving forward, we will only improve on that side of football.
Defensively, outside of really a couple big plays, like you said, it looked like Milton was in position, just maybe a mix or whatever. How do you feel like they improved last night in certain areas? Obviously, the first quarter was outstanding.
Dominant. The first quarter being they, you know, again, they're just playing so much faster than they were earlier in the year. You know, and again, a lot of that is confidence. A lot of that is understanding what we're asking them. A lot of that was simplifying the systems and having understanding what these kids can do and what they cannot do, and putting them in a position to excel. 19 Harris, you know, he's grown leaps and bounds. I got to say something about Nate Locke. You know, we didn't know. I mean, like I said, Austin Valdez was a last-second scratch. You know, and those guys just stepping up, and those things don't just happen. No, a light switch doesn't come on. That means that when they go in their meeting rooms, that means when they're out there practicing, that they're engaged, and the coaches, you know, they're getting the most that they can out of these kids. So again, I'm proud of the staff.
What time did the bus get in?
3.
Was it harder or easier for you to sleep at all last night?
Easier, of course. You know what I mean? It's always easier to lay your head down with the win.
When you began your words here, you talked about the second half and started in on your team a little bit and then kind of switched gears. How much was those struggles in the third quarter your team, and how much of that was Akron in your eyes?
You know, I'm always giving credit to our opponent, Akron. You know, we, you know, you take the first drive. You know, again, we think we've got a beat on them, what they're doing defensively. They're kind of on the heels a little bit. We come out, and we're loading a lot of plays, checking the different plays. We checked it all right one. Fred is out, 9-yard game, ball stripped, momentum changes. You know, their confidence begins to grow, and then at that point, after you know, they got that score, they kind of changed a little bit defensively. You know, they kind of, you know, stopped rolling that safety, and they just went man free and said, we're going to put everybody up in the box, throw it. And then at that point, you know, we took a few shots that we had and that we dropped. But, you know, they forced us to do those things. They didn't allow us to run it like we were in the first half. And we've got to make those plays when those opportunities come. We've got the guys to do it. They got open. They got open. We just got to finish it. We got to make those plays, because a couple of those plays, we still got an 8-point lead. It becomes 15, you know, and then they get out of their rhythm. And I don't think what was Tu's name? Chapman was 5. The third string quarterback came in. Goodman, good, yeah, heck of an athlete. He dropped a couple dimes, but I don't think he's had the reps, you know. So we could have put him in a situation to where. We kind of could have got out the quarterback a little bit. We didn't do that. We allowed them to stay balanced, and then it became a ball game.
Will you talk a little bit about your quarterback's play? Statistically, not his best game by far.
Statistically, not his best game by far. He made a few decent throws, especially in the second half. You know, we got to continue to grow, and just little bitty things like we talked about last week about being sure we're changing the snap count and keeping the defense off guard. Well, we were playing under center a little bit last night, and you really don't have to worry about those same things. And we went and changed the snap count a couple of times, and ended up costing us. We forgot to tell everybody. You know, so those are, again, things that you know, you tend to take for granted, and you find out when you're playing young kids you can't. But you know, he stayed competitive. It got rough. They got after him a little bit. Once they loaded that box, and they were bringing some good pressure. He's a tough kid. He continued to fight, and you know, we believe in him.
Go back to going under center. I don't think we've seen it a lot this year.
Right.
I know we talked about wanting to run the ball this week with their run defense. Was that a plan going under center right away, or
We felt like there's some things that we would be able to execute early in the ball game. I think if you go back and look at the first drive, it's boom, 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 boom. We've got Ronnie wide open on an 8, a little route, and we throw it. I'm still not sure to this moment where we're throwing it or why we threw it to the guy, but we had another couple series that we went and really I don't know if it was the weather or what have you. We just didn't seem like we were in sync. So at that point, just kind of made a decision that we watched them, we sat there and we talked about, okay, they undersized their front. Let's give it to the big boys. And that's what we chose to do at that moment, that fourth possession. And as you all know, it kind of changed the game.
I mean, is that the first couple drives when you're not under center, is that, I guess, the mindset sticking to what you want to do here?
Right. What I want to do here is I want to win ball games, and we're going to do what our personnel allows us to do. In the next couple of weeks, you're probably going to see us more in the center, and really, truth be known, that's more the kind of ball games that, that I feel comfortable in. Though that's who I am. That's my identity. We're going to stay a tempo team, you know what I mean? But I think you'll see much more diversity, versatility, or whatever word you want to use. More formations instead of just a spread moving forward.
You've got a short week playing on Tuesday. You don't have your normal 7-day routine. You talk what kinds of things have you done to compress it at this point?
Well, the biggest deal right now is getting with our training staff and seeing who can play and who can't, who's up and who's not. We had our initial staff meeting this morning, and Kent State, to their core, they want to be a physical, grinded-out football team. And we're late in the season. Either you're going to be physical or you are not. So me going out there for the next 2 days and beating the heck out of them and yelling at them about how you got to be tough, it's not going to make a difference. I think the biggest deal over the next couple of days, we'll probably take the pads off and only go 1 day of full pads and try to get them healthy and make sure that as a coaching staff, holistically, that we're preaching and making sure they understand the type of ball game that we're getting ready to walk into. They've matured a ton throughout the season, and I don't think they'll have a problem handling that. So to answer your question, yeah, we're going to cut back a little bit, and on this 6-day week, my biggest goal is making sure we're playing as fast as we possibly can come Tuesday, because that's something that we did. We played hard all year, but we just ran around just with a different confidence the other night, and we threw our bodies around. I want to continue to do that.
And going back to the Akron game when they tied it up in the fourth quarter, how were you able to go back and finish and take the win?
We talked about it, throughout the week, especially in visiting with the defense, and that I just wanted them to play every snap like it was the last snap. Every snap like the last snap. Be aggressive. Play confident. Play fast. The ball in the air is ours. Ball in the air is ours. And they went out there and they made a pick. And they got a big play because we turned it over. It was 28-28, and we gave it back to them offensively. The defense went and got another stop. And then we finally came to our senses and found a way to get the ball down there and kick the field goal. So, again, it was just constantly preaching a message. You talk about it long enough, sooner or later it sinks in.
Just going back to James, obviously you've seen, I guess, growing pains here and there with decision-making and throws, what have you, but how has he progressed as far as pre-snap reads and checks and stuff like that?
Again, that's also still a work in progress. I know. We've got a ways to go. Happy with his progress to this point. Really looking back at it, throughout the weeks we've hit on it here and there. Might have put too much on his plate initially. You know what I mean? And should have gotten a couple of these type of ball games earlier on. But again, in the long run, I'm going to be glad that we did it. The thing with James that we have to be careful of sometimes is we can't allow him to overthink and overanalyze. We need him just to go out and play. because he works as hard as anybody in the building. He puts a lot of time in, and he wants to be perfect. And we don't play a perfect game. And you've got to understand that. You got to go out and you just got to play within yourself.
Piggyback off John a little bit. Big 12, you didn't have to deal with this hashtag matching midweek game stuff. Now you're a couple weeks into it, still another one to go, and on and on. What are your feelings about playing on Tuesday, on a Wednesday?
Again, it's different. It's different, but it's an unbelievable asset to our conference. Again, we're able to recruit on really a national level, or at least a regional level, because our brand is well known, and it's known because of those Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night games. So I'm always going to be an advocate for that, but it's different. It's definitely it takes some getting used to. Just bringing the tutors with you on the road and having study halls when you're preparing for a game, and taking tests on right before you kick off and things of that nature. That's a little bit different, but again, it's huge for our league.
And also, what are you looking for from Kent State?
Kent State, defensive front, they're going to get after you. They're going to get after you. They've got a pretty solid front seven. From an offense standpoint, they're going to run it. They're going to run it with the quarterback. They're going to run it with their backs. And they want to really slow the game down. So, again, it's one of those deals to where we're going to have to be patient offensively and make sure we're utilizing our All-American punter there. I'll give him a plug, and flipping the field, because that's one of the things we hadn't talked about. That was huge. That whole first half, we kept that field flipped. That's playing good old-fashioned football. But when you've got a weapon like that, you need to be sure that you're utilizing it. And then from an offensive standpoint, not to get impatient, and because they keep it away from you so long, having that tendency to go on and go chunk that thing around as soon as you get it. So we got to play smart and play disciplined football.
Was playing Akron's offense, especially the second half offense, where it's much heavier run based, is that an actual prep for what?
A little bit, no doubt. Yes, sir. That's definitely gonna. And again, they had the quarterback that can move around a little bit. You know what I mean? So, yes, so that's gonna help a ton. Again, it's not necessarily any plays that we haven't seen to this point. That is the positive. It's just that the mindset, the physicality. Because even Akron, they were moving it around, and at times they probably should have kept running it. But they're going to do it. You are who you are, and they kind of may have let us off the hook sometimes, attempting some of those passes as many as they did in the second half. Well, Kent State's not going to do that. They're going to run it. They're going to run it, and they're going to run it again. And we're going to have to match that physicality.
I realize you're only about 12 hours away from Akron, but the quarterback, Nick Hawley from Kent, is from Toledo, so we've seen him since he was a freshman in high school. Have you had a chance to kind of break down what he does and how he's kind of injected some enthusiasm and excitement in the offense?
Yeah. He's kind of got them going a little bit, and they're believing. They had a great show. What was that, Tuesday night? Was it 14-0? Had everybody's eyes open, didn't it? We were just getting back from the movies. We go to the movies the night before the game, and everybody come in and jumped in and saw that football score, and he had a ton to do with that. So we've got a great amount of respect for him, and we realize that in order to win this game, he's definitely going to be somebody we're going to have to contain.
What movie did you see?
We saw Magnificent Seven. Sam Chisholm.